off. Uh-oh. I can't see likes. Oh no, I can't see likes. And it's just frozen. Alright. I've accidentally done it rotated, so it's kind of like a horizontal view. So apparently we're on horizontal view instead of vertical view. So it's constantly saying orientation is locked, rotate device back. But even when I do that, I still can't see my lights. So I'm afraid I can't see my lights. So for those who are wondering, yesterday I had to wait like an hour for a bus. It was ridiculous. But apparently I didn't have to wait an hour for a bus because a bus actually came that goes directly to my town. Because I often have to catch the bus to Ashton to get my town. But the one to Ashton wasn't coming for a long time. Like, one was an hour, another was half an hour. And there was a few of them. But they were all like, took a long time. It was the same bus obviously, but obviously it goes to different stops on the way. So that's why it looked like there was loads of them, but really it was just the same one, I guess. And the stupid thing. Like I say, it was showing a bus going to a place I'd never heard of. But when I say never heard of, I mean, like I have heard of it, but I didn't know it existed as an actual town. I thought it was a street name. So I never heard it as an actual town name. So I disregarded it, but when the one that came that said my town on it, I was like, I didn't even know it was coming because it was called like a different, you know, on B Network, it was called something else. This name that I'd never heard of before. Again, I know it as a street name, but I don't know it as a town name. So it must have been the town's previous name, maybe. So that's why I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say the name, because obviously I don't want to dox myself, but, you know. I thought it was weird because I've never seen that name before on B Network. So I didn't know which stop it stopped at because I didn't even take notice when I saw that name, you know, as to what stops it stops at. So unfortunately, I didn't get to catch that bus, which I could have literally caught and gone home way earlier than the half an hour. But because it was confusing, because it didn't say my town name, it said a street name, which was weird. So I didn't really take any notice of it. Although I did suspect that maybe it does go to that street, which would be near as Dammit, I suppose. Not quite, but it would be near as Dammit to, you know, to my home. If it was to stop on that street. But I think that's it. I think that maybe that strip is named something different. But it's weird because buses don't normally get named the name of the street. It normally gets named the name of the town that it's going to. And then the stop will be in an area in that town. And then there'll be also ones that go to a different end of that town. So there's two that go to my town, but one goes to like a completely different end of the town. Which is still pretty close to where I can walk to. You know, I can still walk home from that area. So it wasn't too bad. And I accidentally got on that bus. I accidentally got on the bus that takes me to the other end of my town. But it wasn't too far away from my end. So it was just a little bit of a walk away. So it wasn't too bad. And at least I know that that's a way to get to a supermarket. I didn't really know how to get to this supermarket before. But me and my mum used to see buses that go, obviously, and stop outside that supermarket, that go along that road, that would take you to another town in that direction. But instead you have to go all the way to Ashton to get another bus to that town, instead of just getting one in my area, which my mum thought was ridiculous. But whatever, at least I know now. So if I ever need to get to that area, well, I could literally walk. I could literally walk to that area pretty much. It's just that it's uphill. So that's a little bit of a pain. Happy New Year, everybody. Oh, not right now. I'm not showing myself. Maybe later, maybe in a bit. In a bit. It is winter and fluffs are cold. Fluffs like myself are cold. Freezing. You know, it was warm briefly yesterday and now it's gone back to being freezing cold again. It is winter and fluffs are cold and tired. I'm cold and tired. I've been tired today. I had to have a coffee. Which is cold now. My coffee's cold. Remind me to put the blue bin out because apparently the blue bin is out today. Where are you from, by the way? Out of curiosity. It'd be nice to know where my viewers are called. Also, I have a question for people apart from that. How come loads of people have like coloured lights in their upstairs rooms? Sometimes they have them in the downstairs rooms, but usually it's in their upstairs rooms. Sometimes they be purple. Sometimes they be green. Sometimes they be blue. Right, let's water the plants with this. Seems like a waste of a not tiny bit of coffee, but what can you do? Is that a brown bin or a black bin? I can't tell. I think it's a brown bin. Okay, so I don't know what to do with this lid. I can't put it in the recycling. I would have put it in the black bin because it's, you know, plastic, but those bins are not out. I've got 0 views now. Boo. We got up to about 4. And then... Can't believe people would do this, put stuff on the pavement like this. They already parked the cars on the pavement and then they put, in the little bit of a gap that there is, they put fucking stuff in the way of it. That is so inconsiderate. I wasn't sure if I felt like live streaming today due to the fact that I need to wear my bunchies on my hands. My bunchies on my hands. Oh yeah, well, seeing as how there's nobody on right now, I'm going to tell you guys a story. Once upon a time. So, I went to my usual place today. I went into like a takeaway type place. And these people were behind me. And they came in behind me. And when I was going in and I looked behind me, they were also coming in as well. And it was 3 young people. Not teenagers, I don't think. If they were older teenagers. They looked young, they looked like kind of bigger versions of, you know, like hooligan types, you know, just like teenagers. Well, you know what they look like. But like bigger versions. So they have like a similar look to the teenagers, but they looked bigger. So they looked older. So they might have been older teenagers. But, you know, like the eldest they'd be is like early 20s. And they came in behind me. I opened the door for one of them because I was like looking behind me because I wanted to see who was coming in behind me. And he said thank you, which is nice. So I thought, okay, maybe they're nice. But I'm a little suspicious because they came in at the same time as me, which I didn't think anything of. But they left at the very same time as me. So they were in the same amount of time. And then they left at the exact same time I left. But when they because the people in there were asking them like what they wanted and confirming that they wanted this, that, the other, like food wise. But when they left, they had nothing. They had no, oh, here's a black bin. I'll put it in here. It's plastic. Normally I wouldn't do this because I don't. Shush. It's plastic. But anyway, so when they left, they had nothing. But they were clearly talking about food in there. So the only thing I could think of is that they deliberately went in there to follow me in, ordered food so it didn't look suspicious. But then when they were leaving, they must have said, oh, sorry, we don't really want the food. I don't know, because they didn't have any food when they left. They were carrying nothing at all. They didn't have a bag. So I thought that was a little suspicious. What do you guys think? I think it's suspicious that they were in there for the same amount of time I was in there. So my food was ready by then, so their food surely would have been ready. And yet they left with nothing at all. But what they did, I don't know. Like I say, just go in there, pretend to order. And then when the order was up, they just, you know, like said, no, I don't want it after all. Like, is that what they did? I thought that was really weird and suspicious. Gosh, I honestly read that as, how sexy is your eczema? So it's actually, how is your eczema? It is a little bit better. So I've been using the steroid cream again. Obviously it's not perfect, but it is a little bit better. Thanks for asking. Although your message was flagged as inappropriate because of the first word you used. I think even YouTube thought you said, how sexy is your eczema? Because that is honestly how I read it, and I was like, what the fuck, that's weird. Wow, I am exhausted already. So I've got to remember to put the blue bins out. Some cheeky little bugger has put their rubbish in our bin again. You deleted. Your message was deleted. I'm assuming YouTube did it. Whew. Sod you, YouTube. Do you think that's suspicious? I don't know. Like, maybe it's a coincidence. Like, I wouldn't have thought it was suspicious had they not left with nothing. It's just that they didn't have any food. You know, they would have had like a bag of takeaway food, wouldn't they? I thought it was suspicious for that reason alone. But, you know, I have no doubt that they came in to order food, like me, but then left with nothing at all. And I find that suspicious. So I think that is like I say, I'm not saying for definite, but I do think that's really weird. So I think that they just came in for whatever reason to follow me and then leave. Maybe I should go back in there and ask them, did those people actually leave with any food? because I didn't see any food. And I think that's a bit weird. That seems suspicious to me. Because it looks like such a normal thing to do, doesn't it? Like just going in to order food, like anybody would. And I'm just talking about this to clock it, really. To clock that this is what happened. Oh no, I haven't monetized this. I can't monetize my videos. Well, you know, well, yeah, I suppose my YouTube as well, my videos as well as my lives. I can't monetize anything. I have to monetize it manually before I start the live stream up. Because you know, back a long time ago, you could monetize, like the stuff was automatically monetized. Like it just automatically monetized it. But now you have to do it manually, either before you go live or after in YouTube Studio. But I don't have YouTube Studio, so I can't even do that. So that sucks. Anxanuma was in here, it says. Now, I can't see any likes, so if you could tell me how many likes I've got, if any, that would be great. Because I can't see my likes. It appears to be cut off. Because it's going on about that rotating thing. Today I've just had a walk and I've eaten. And that's been it so far. Oh, drank coffee. And like I say, 1 like. Okay. Yeah, that sounds about right. Well, because of your thing being hidden. Yeah, like I said yesterday, when I was live yesterday, they have taken down my live stream from Saturday because I mentioned a specific word that pertains to self-harm, and apparently they think, for some reason, and I don't know why, but they think that I am promoting this self-harm thing in that particular live stream. Because they showed me an example of it, like they put a timestamp, and I watched it. And it's where I'm actually at the point where I'm right now, and I mentioned this word that apparently pertains to self-harm. I daren't say it again just in case I get, you know, my channel, not my channel, you know, my live stream gets taken down again. It's just a good thing that I save my shorts from, you know, live streams. I save like bits of videos from my live streams, and I usually do it throughout. And this is in case my actual live stream gets taken down. Plus, it means people can see like short videos from the live stream, so they don't have to go all the way through my live stream to get to a particular bit. Yeah, it starts with an A and ends with an A. And it's something I would never, if this really was AI, and I don't believe it is AI just because it's not intelligent at all. If it was intelligent, it would know that I would never promote A on my channel. I would never, ever promote thin culture. I would never, ever promote being too thin. I would never, ever promote it being emaciated. Because to me, that is something surely people wouldn't want anyway. I mean, I don't even know why it's a thing. Like, I don't actually know why everyone wants to be underweight anyway. Like, I get people wanting to be slim, like, not massive, but just like a normal size. But these stupid people, for some unknown reason, think that if you're any bigger than underweight, then you're fat. But as I keep saying, there's nothing even wrong with being fat. But people with meat on their bones, obviously they do have fat on them, but they're not fat. But I don't know why it's such a bad thing to be, like chubby. I get why people don't want to be fat because like they think it's unhealthy. It probably is. Like to be like 400 pounds plus is probably very unhealthy. Maybe 300 pounds plus is like a bit unhealthy. And then 400 pounds is quite unhealthy. And then like 600 pounds, like really, really, really unhealthy. But I bet you any money if I was to fat shame or whatever. I mean, I have promoted being fat, but YouTube never like takes that down. Well, I promote being... What's it? Oh, shit. Normal, healthy weight. And also, like a bit chubby. I do promote being chubby. I promote being like a healthy weight, chubby, and slightly overweight. And yet, I bet it would never... Well, that's actually a good thing. I don't know why I'm complaining. It's a good thing. I like the old days of YouTube when you do videos what you want. Never had any petty rules on YouTube and free speech back in 2010's the glory days of YouTube. Yeah. Now we have to find another platform to make videos and live streams on where we can say what we want. I think you can on something called Locals. I think Locals you can do that, but people would have to join and pay money to see the videos on it. But I think that I think people do put free videos out on there. I do actually have a Locals, but I never use it. I probably should. Because, I want to promote my being fat is superior message. Actually, that's a good thing, really, that it promotes being, like, apparently if you promote being fat, it doesn't flag your channel. But if you promote being too thin, then it takes down your YouTube or oh, for fuck's sake, I keep saying it wrong. Your live stream or your video. So that's actually good. It means YouTube is skinny phobic, and that's what we like. A skinny phobic world. That's what we want, isn't it, guys? A skinny phobic world, not a fat phobic one. We want a fat glorifying world. And again, we don't have to glorify being like ridiculously overweight, but again, I definitely promote being chubby. I'm not going to say I don't promote obesity, but obviously I do like it. I think it's hot and sexy. And I know a lot of my fans on here do. A lot of my viewers do prefer fat bodies. I don't know how fat they like them, but I personally like bodies from thin to chubby to slightly overweight to very overweight to obese. But I don't like it like super, super, super overweight as much. So it does start to look a bit gross to me. Like where the skin starts to look unnatural and just deformed. I don't like that. And they start getting these flaps of skin that... It's like if they were to lose weight at that point, they'd have so much excess skin, it would be quite gross and they'd have to have it cut off. I never really got why people find that attractive. But now I kind of do. Not that I understand because I do, but like I understand because I now realize why a lot of people are into the fat fetish. And it's not because they genuinely think that fat people are attractive like I do. but they think more about fat people as I think about skinny people. And I think of skinny people as like weak and inferior and suffering. You know, they're starving and their bones are sticking out, so they kind of look like they're either in a famine or someone is deliberately starving them. Like their abusive husband, their abusive wife, their abusive parent, their abusive brother, sister, a friend, or not a friend really, but like a captor, like whatever. And obviously I don't agree with that with the fat people. Like I don't think fat people are weak or inferior. And I don't think they suffer. I think that they're privileged, and I think that they look like they're well fed, so that's good. People go on about force feeding, but it's not really force feeding because most of these people deliberately want to be fed, so it's not technically force feeding. They might role play that, I guess. But I don't really get forced fatness. But like I say, I'm into deliberate weight gain and forced skinniness. I'm not into deliberate weight loss to get emaciated, like the people with the A. And like I say, I would never promote that, so don't you dare flag my live stream, YouTube. I would never, ever, ever in a million years promote I would never promote being skinny. No, never. Never, ever, ever. It's disgusting that they think that. The closest I got to promoting it wasn't even promoting it. It was kind of like me just saying about my fantasy, which is a community where people are being forced to be skinny against their will. But they don't really want to be skinny. But I thought that would actually probably would, what's the word? The people more likely to be interested in doing that, like joining to be forced into weight loss, would be the people. Because I think this is a good opportunity to, so instead of them having to do it themselves and it being hard, somebody would be helping them, even if they weren't really helping them. Like, I'm not doing it to help them, I would be doing it to force them against their will. But in their mind, they'd be like, yeah, this is the perfect opportunity to get whatever. It's like when I was gaining weight, when I was skinny, and I wanted to gain weight, I couldn't do it myself. Like, I found it really hard. Like, I ate and ate and ate and ate and ate, and I just couldn't gain weight no matter what. So I thought maybe if I had a person helping me, if I had a feeder, then maybe I could actually gain weight more easily. Like if someone gave me money, either gave me money so I could buy extra food and I'd eat loads of extra food, or I would live with someone and I would just sit around all day and they would cook and clean and just bring me loads of meals and snacks in between meals, and that would make them work for me, and I would get fatter and fatter and fatter and they would get skinnier, and that was another fantasy of mine. But that way it'd be a hell of a lot more easier for me to gain weight. So I never wanted to be a person who was force-fed, supposedly against my will. I do believe a lot of the fetish surrounding that is a person doesn't want to get fat. Again, in the fantasy, they do want to get fat, obviously, but their fantasy is literally to be made to get fat against their will, I guess. So they get a feeder, and the feeder's usually evil, a dominant, and they would obviously force the person to get fat against their will. And in the fantasy, apparently they'd want to obviously not gain weight, I guess, and stuff. So obviously I'm not really into that. That's not my thing. I'm not into really the idea of forcing someone to get fat against their will. Not for ethical reasons, but because I'm still a sadist. I am a sadist, but the opposite way around. As in, I would be gaining weight deliberately, and the other person, the submissive one, or masochist, would be the one who would be forced to either stay skinny or lose more weight against their will. Forced starvation for this fantasy fetish thing. And again, this is not promoting it like bad stuff. This is literally just a fetish fantasy. Because I'm a sadist. I'm a sadist by nature. And obviously the people involved would be consenting to it, but not. So it would be CNC. So consensual non-consent. If anyone knows what that is. So the people involved would consent to put their control in my hands, and I would starve them. CNC against their will. Again, consensual, non-consensual, against their will. You know? But obviously in the fetish, it's not even CNC. Like it would be just against their will, like in the fantasy. It is against their will. Which is fair enough because it's a fantasy. Obviously in real life, I kind of want that in real life, but obviously I wouldn't do that in real life. Because I can't do that in real life. And I don't know why I can't do it in real life, but I can't right now. But I do have, like I've said before, I do have someone who has consented to do that. And that is good. I do have someone who's consented for me to starve them. The only problem is they already eat once a day, skinny, so I don't really know how I can starve them. They would have to already be eating a normal amount. And then I would gradually make them skinny by having them eat less and less gradually. The thing is, though, I never knew that, that was what a lot of people's fantasy was. That it was about the fat person being submissive and gaining weight against their will, being fed against their will. I never really knew. I mean, obviously I knew about that as like a subsection, but I thought it was like, what's that word? Like there'd be like a variety. It's like a variant on the fetish. I remember when I said to someone I'm a dominant feedee, somebody thought that that was unusual. And that's when I got my first inkling that a lot of people know of the feedee to be submissive, I guess. Or the masochist and the feeder to be dominant and the sadist. But like I say, in my world, that's not the case. The fat people are the high-ranking ones and the dominant ones because they have the privilege to get fat. So they'd be eating an abundance of food. And the sadistic thing for me is to, like I say, starve someone. And that's my... And I was hoping to find, like, more people into that, but I don't really... Like, that doesn't seem to be a thing as much as other things, Because obviously there are people who are into forced starvation. But I've never heard of anybody into both. So they would gain weight and, like deliberately, because in that universe it would be the sought after thing to do. Like in that universe, everyone would want to gain weight because that would be seen as being privileged to eat enough to gain weight. And if anybody can't gain weight, it's because they can't eat as much. So therefore they're underprivileged. So that fat person would deliberately gain weight, and then, or be a person, they wouldn't be fat initially, they would start out thin, and then they would gain weight deliberately. And simultaneously they would be starving their slaves or whatever, or subjects, or whoever it was, wife, sister, brother, son, daughter, whatever the scenario is, the dynamic. And that person who's being starved would obviously not want to be thin, so they would be very jealous that their abuser, their dominant, would have the privilege to gain weight and get fat while they're being forced to starve, and they'd be very jealous of that. But I've not heard of like other people into that dynamic, that particular situation, which is weird. Like, I'm surprised. So I'm still kind of, well, I do feel a little bit alone in that sense, that I don't know of anyone else into that dynamic and situation. There was a person who used to come on my channel, who came on a few times, and we had a chat. And I can't remember if it was a girl. I think there was two of them. There was a transgender woman, and there was also a girl, a biological cis woman or girl. And I'm pretty sure she said she was kind of into the whole like fat monarch thing, like fat privileged wealthy, pampered, spoilt, like queen. Like her fantasy was to be a big fat queen or empress, something like that. Just like I like the idea of being like a big fat pharaoh, a big fat Egyptian king. But I like any scenario with being fat, but either way, being fat means you're high ranking. So obviously the sexiest fantasy for me is fat monarch. So obviously they would be the most privileged, the most wealthy, the most spoiled, lazy, pampered git, in the area, in the town, in the city, the country, whatever. So of course they'd be the fattest. And then everyone below him would be less fat, or her. And obviously the lowest ranking ones would be the skinniest, because they would eat the least, they would have the least money, the least privilege, the least abundance. So beware of the dog. How many animals do you say beware of? It's clear that dogs are dangerous, that you have to say beware of a dog. So why do people love these things? When no other animal, you have to put a sign and saying beware of. Unless it's beware of because you don't want them to escape, and you don't want the people letting them out or stepping on them, like small. Like, oh, beware of the mice. Because if you were to go in and step on the mice, that would suck. But anyway, yeah. So I'm still yet to meet anyone who is into that scenario, apart from that one person. But whether they're also simultaneously into the whole other side of it, of starving someone else simultaneously while you're getting fatter and more privileged and stuff, that person, that's the kind of person I'm yet to meet. Hang on, I'm just gonna switch. My arm's aching like bloody crazy. I'm very sorry guys for the lack of visual, but I mean, the little avatar, the little icon on the screen right now is an example of like my big fat pharaoh persona. He's a big fat sexy pharaoh. Isn't he sexy? I was doing a comic about him, as you know, and it was about like big fat pharaoh from, because honestly I don't know, like when like how long ago it was when they had pharaohs, like ancient Egypt and all that, maybe like 2,000 years ago or more. But apparently, according to the date, apparently this planet's only 2025 or 6 now years old. But it's clearly older than that, seeing as how I often hear about people living like well before 2,000 years ago. So it's 2,000 years plus ago. So whenever that was, so he actually had access to an iPhone and modern technology, so he could make live streams. So that's what my comic is about, an ancient Egyptian pharaoh doing live streams on his modern phone. And he does this so that the people, like his peasants and everything, can see how wealthy and, like, in he is living in, like the amount of abundance that he's living in. So they can get jealous. They're not getting to get fat and sexy and wealthy and privileged. But I haven't actually, like, shown the reactions of the peasants yet. So it would be fun to do part of the comic where they're like getting, like, you see them and their point of view and them getting a bit like upset and jealous, kind of maybe angry that their king is living in such riches and abundance while they're living in scarcity. They're lacking money and food and creature comforts. And they're quite upset by this because he's not helping. In fact, if anything, he's deliberately making sure they all live in poverty while he lives.
You okay?
Thank you. He lives in, luxury, like the life of luxury. Privileged and pampered, and so on and so forth. I've just passed a couple of pyramids right now. They're very beautiful. I've got one of them, the Tree of Life one. And there's one with I think it's a blue planet there as well. I really like that one. So far, they're the two I've only gotten to see, so I haven't put them properly. So, just wanted to mention. So, there's a carriageway named after me. Don't freeze. Yeah, it's really cold. Luckily, I've got these big fluffy gloves. They're the warmest gloves I've ever had. Like, when I had gloves before, I always used to have to breathe hot air into them just to make them warm. But of course, as soon as I put them on, they would immediately get cold. The air would like penetrate through. So, it wasn't very good. And that's every gloves I've had. Like, every single gloves I've had have been easily penetrated by the freezing cold air. But these ones, I don't know. I mean, why would they make them like that? Why would they make them so that the cold air could just go into them? Yeah. Ooh, that's a lot of houseplants. Could do with some. Apparently it helps the air inside your house to be a lot cleaner. Very good. Please shine bright, I guess. That's good. Thank you. It's a very nice sentiment indeed. Gosh. I sure am trying, but winter is taking it out of me as always. As you can probably tell, I'm not really a fan of winter. But I think being the sun god, I don't think the sun god really thrives too good in winter. Makes me want to stay in bed all day. It's horrible. What on earth is that noise? There are all sorts of noises. Don't know where they're coming from. What the heck? So here we're trying to make sure that everybody is clear on my thoughts on these dynamics and fat versus in. Because I'm actually offended, I'm offended that YouTube thinks that I would ever in a million years promote the act of deliberately making yourself thinner, particularly severely underweight. It's clear by the rest of the context of that live stream that I'm clearly talking about anti-A. In fact, I only even mentioned the word because I was just talking about them, casually. Stating a fact. I wasn't even glorifying it. I wasn't promoting it. Why do they think that I'm promoting it? I thought this was supposed to be AI. Intelligence. Intelligence is in the name. And yet they're not showing intelligence at all. Ew. Not at all. So yes, I am there. I was quite offended by YouTube. Now, I was going to challenge their decision to remove my live stream. But I've decided against it. And the reason being is just because I've saved a load of shorts from... It's weird saying shorts because it sounds like you're talking about the garment shorts. So whenever I say shorts, it seems like I'm talking about actual shorts that you wear. But in this context, I'm talking about short videos that I call shorts, So I've saved a bunch of shorts from that live stream. And if they want to remove that live stream, then whatever. But when I go into it, it doesn't even give you the option to, challenge their decision to remove it. So I can't be bothered. I'm the type of person who will make a bare minimum effort with anything. I'll make a bit of effort. If it's difficult, then I will just give up because I'll lose interest. And I think it's because, I'm convinced I've got ADHD, and that's why I am the way I am. Not just that, with a lot of other things. And I was talking last night about all the things I have actually diagnosed myself with. Do you want to hear it? It sounds like I'm a bloody hypochondriac or something. Or a Munchausen person. And I have actually diagnosed myself with those things as well. So, yeah. My mum actually is the one who said I was a hypochondriac. I don't really believe that I am. But a lot of the things that I hear, I definitely have experienced. Not everything, but... If I was a hypochondriac, it'd be everything, right? Everything I hear, it would be yeah, I've got that. And it's no, not really. Just things I think I have narcissism because I do definitely have. Oh, hi, and Joe here. He will attest that back in the day, I was definitely like this, having the delusions of grandeur, they call it. So I definitely think I've got narcissism because I have always... since I was a child, had, quote, delusions, end quote, of grandeur. And as you can hear, I quote delusions because I don't really think I'm delusional. But by today's standards, it would be considered delusional considering I'm just an average Joe. Meaning I'm just technically working class, I suppose. In real life standards. I guess I would be considered working... Actually, I don't even know if I'm working class. I think I might be slightly above. Not quite middle class, but just between. If there is a between, I don't know if there is. Because my mum, I don't know, my mum and dad never really worked. And they sounded really posh. And they didn't work. They had businesses. And I think when you have businesses, isn't that middle class when you have businesses rather than like jobs? My mum and dad never had like menial labor jobs. They always had like businesses, always. My mum was like a proper entrepreneur, same as my dad. I'm the only one who hasn't managed to hack it, probably because of my ADHD and stuff. And I don't focus on anything long enough. I just don't have, I like the focus and my passion, although I am passionate about stuff, it kind of comes and goes. And I think that's definite, like, of all the things I've diagnosed myself with, I think that one might be the most legitimate. But we'll see what the doctor says, if I can ever get a diagnosis screening. I mean, I have done it already, but they never came back to me. So I think the fact that they've not come back to me means that there's no evidence to suggest that I have ADHD, considering they never got back to me. And they always say that if you get tested for something and it's negative, they just won't give you any results. I think. So my lack of any response means that they haven't found any evidence to suggest I have whatever it is that they have screened before. The only one I actually got a proper answer for was autism. They said I don't have it, basically. Well, they didn't say I don't have it. They said there's no evidence to make them think that they need to pursue it any further. So I'm assuming they did that with the ADHD one, but they didn't tell me, which I think is ridiculous, because I mean, if I don't have autism and ADHD, I'm like, what the hell's wrong with me? It means I'm a neurotypical that still has something that makes me lack focus and think differently to everyone else on the planet and find it hard to like prioritize things. It's like one of the symptoms of ADHD is that you really, really don't want to do anything that doesn't provide a dopamine hit. So for me, that would be cleaning and cooking. I hate doing those things. So I just don't do them. And I've actually tried forcing myself to do them, and I actually get anxiety. I get stressed, I overthink things, and I actually it feels wrong. It's not just mildly unpleasant like it is for the average Joe, because nobody likes, I mean, there are people who do like cooking and cleaning, but the majority of people don't like doing it, but they do it because they have to. But I don't think that they feel anxiety or stress or anything when they're doing it. I think it's just a bit boring or a bit unpleasant, but not too much unpleasant. Whereas for me, it feels like, even in my logical brain, I'm thinking, okay, this is easy. There's nothing to it. But when I do it, it feels wrong somehow. It actually feels wrong in some way. And like I say, I don't really know what it is or why. But it feels... And then I just avoid feeling that way, so I avoid doing it. But in my logical brain, I'm thinking, it's not that bad. Yeah, it's not my favourite thing to do, but it's not that bad. But then when I do it, it's fucking bad. You know, it's like, it's worse than logic can actually describe. It's not logical, it's just a way I feel. And it's not a nice feeling. And it's only mild anxiety, by the way. It's not like intense anxiety. I mean, I still do it anyway, because obviously it does have to get done. I do have to clean. I don't cook, actually. My mum cooks, but I don't cook, so that's good. Now, cooking I got used to, so I didn't feel that way when cooking, but I didn't like doing it. I found it very stressful and messy. The thing I didn't like about cooking was how stressful and messy it was, because I was always dropping things, spilling things, having to mop up the floor or the countertops or getting it all over my sleeves or my clothes or my hands, and I hated that. But I didn't really get anxiety from it or that other feeling I mentioned where it feels wrong. It was just mildly annoying, you know, and frustrating. Sometimes I would get quite frustrated and annoyed. So that's more of just, it's just slightly unpleasant, but I could cope with it. You know, it felt more natural. It didn't feel as unnatural or daunting as cleaning. But whenever I do any chores, like cleaning of any description, not so much putting away, like if I was to put things away in a box, say for instance, I wouldn't get anxiety from that. But trying to rearrange everything and organize things and actually cleaning things, I would get mild anxiety and just this feeling that it's wrong. Like this feeling of there's something wrong. You know, like you get gut feelings and you think there's something wrong, there's something not right. It's kind of like that feeling. But I don't know whether I feel it in my gut. It just feels like it's in my brain. Thank you, Anxanumanumanum, for posting my links. I would appreciate it if people were to take notice to the links and donate to me. And, you know, if you want any art commissions, that's a little bit difficult unless you want traditional art. I can't do digital art right now because I don't have a laptop or a computer or anything. They've all broken. And I actually don't know how to get it fixed because I don't know of any, like, tech people. I don't know of any, like, computer repairy people anymore. I used to know someone long time ago, a computer repair shop, but that seems to have gone now, so I don't actually know where you go to get your computer or laptop fixed anymore. I should probably go on my town's Facebook group and ask if there's anyone who can repair computers and laptops. But to be honest with you, to do that, they'd have to come to the house, and I don't really want anyone coming to the house, if I'm honest. So, yeah. So that's that. Anyway, getting back to the story. So, yeah. That night, I really struggle to get up every day, like, at a reasonable time, and I do end up getting up late. Most people do attribute that to depression, but I don't know if that's true. Because it feels like it's more a physical thing. Like, it has been a mental thing, like where I've woke up feeling sad or upset or depressed or whatever, scared sometimes, and it makes me dread getting up. But I'm not experiencing that right now. It's more a physical thing, like I just don't want to get up because I feel physically shit. So sometimes it is depression, but it's not always depression, and it's not always been depression. I feel like sometimes it is. Depends on how I'm feeling. So maybe there's also some anxiety surrounding getting up as well when I do have the mental thing that makes me feel not like getting up. Like that feeling of dread and mild anxiety. I do get that feeling sometimes, but not always. Now, yeah, so now I'm going to tell you about the other stuff. So, I diagnosed myself with autism, ADHD, narcissism, BPD, potentially paranoid schizophrenia, potentially bipolar. These are the potential ones that I'm not 100% sure on. I'd have to do more research before. But I think I definitely have ADHD. I think that one's like, I've heard symptoms about that, and it definitely feels like all the symptoms I've heard just do describe how I've felt and dealt with over the years. What just happened? It's disappeared again. Like, even the views have disappeared now. I can't see views or likes now. Always because we've reached the 1 hour mark. So that has kind of expanded from the double digits to however many fucking digits that is. 3 plus obviously the seconds as well. The minute and seconds. So that's expanded. So now it's not showing the likes or the views anymore. So yeah. Oh, OCD. I also diagnosed myself with OCD. Which, yes, considering I don't like cleaning. But there are different OCDs apart from the ones where they feel like they're compulsive cleaning. Like, there is one man who has this compulsive urge to write a letter confessing a crime he didn't commit. And he's really scared of doing that. Kind of like that, anyway. Anyway, so I've got to go. I'll be right back. I'm just going to charge my phone up for a few minutes, but I've got to go. Don't go anywhere, guys. I'll be right back. People in the chat, if anyone comes and asks me where I am, just tell them I'll be right back. sense. How many views is it saying now? Alright, guys, I'm back. Oh my goodness, what the frick? Oh my god, what the hell is that? What is wrong with it? Oh no. That's terrible, it's all elongated. Look, a fluff. It looks just like fluffers. But you can't see. It's like proper full screen, but it's all like elongated. You guys can't even see my fat stomach. What the hell? Have you seen my fluffer? Is it cute? It looks just like fluffers, wouldn't you say? By the way, where's its tail? It doesn't seem to have a tail. Fluff. You fluffing fluff. You look great. Can you actually see me properly, or is it elongated for you guys as well? Because to me, that looks so elongated, you can't even see me properly. Oh my god, that's so weird. It's like stretched out. Can you see my big fat sexy belly? Fat as hell, look wider. Oh, by the way, it has ears on the hood as well, which some people found amusing yesterday when I wore this in Weatherspoons. People found it amusing. So what does it look like? Is it elongated? It's kind of wide. Yeah. Oh my gosh, that's so weird. Well, that's my fat stomach anyway. I thought I would show you my big fat stomach before I end the live stream. Now, I must say, it feels extra doughy and soft. So fat. I wonder why it's done that. I don't know how to, stop it from being that way, though. I know that when I do that, it stops doing the rotatey thing. But it still looks stretched out. In fact, it makes my stomach look like it's overhanging. So that's good. How do I, stop it? I guess I'd have to, stop it and start it again. What is this? They can share it, copy link, create post, share with your audience. Community moderation. All messages. Oh, flew me neck. I don't know how to stop it from being that way. What happens if I flip it? Maybe if I flip it and then unflip it again. Flip it back again. Hey, it looks normal now. But hey. Okay, that's better. So fat and sexy. Look how wobbly it is. It's so big and wide and wobbly and fat. Isn't it the fattest, softest, sexiest chit on the entire universe planet? Because the universe is on the planet, you see. So, isn't this the sexiest, fattest thing in the universe that's on the planet? It's normal again, woohoo! I'm so glad. Yeah, I can see that. What the fluffy fluff? But as you can see, I got this. It's got a fluff on it. It's got fluffers on it. Let me show you how similar they are. There's fluffers. And there's the picture of fluffers. And it actually says fluff on it. It's as if it was made for me. Obviously it isn't, it's been bought, but it is made for me because it's got the exact same fluff character. And it actually says a load of fluff on it. So it's actually perfect. Isn't that cute? Look how round it is. And then you got a fluff. So there you go. A lot of fluff. Fluff you. Fluff you, everybody. Okay, let's go round. Now it's a bit dark. The fluffies. Fluffies. It is very cute, isn't it? The top's cute. The fluff is cute. With everything. Big and fat and sexy and wobbly. I'm glad it's normal again. That elongation stuff was absolute shit. It does look really bad. It did look really bad, didn't it? so fluffy and fluff. Soft and wobbly and ripply and jiggly and sexy. Isn't it the sexiest shit on the planet? The sexiest shit on the planet. But I'm afraid that's got to be it for now because I'm tired and cold, so I'm going to go and, get changed and relax for the evening. So good night, everyone. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Get fat. Let's all get nice and fat. Cozy and warm. Another good thing about being fat is that it means that you will be fat enough for winter to survive the cold. Being fat is far superior, wouldn't you agree? Ooh. Ooh. And yeah, don't forget to donate and stuff, as well as liking and commenting. Look at all the purple and pink. You know how much I like purple and pink. Ooh. Ooh. And you to you. Cute as oot as. Look at my paws. My paws. My paws. Purple. Moo paws. My paws. My paws. Ooh. Ooh. Right, good night, everybody. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe and donate, please, because Angst Newman has put the links. And, Oh, there's the X. It's right where the camera is. Okay, yeah, that's really weird. My paws. That's cute. That's very cute. Good night, everybody.